Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, beloved friends, and welcome to another Divine Loss program on Kardec Radio. Today, we are blessed to have another opportunity to nourish our souls for immortality as we acquire eternal knowledge that shall empower us to in turn acquire the virtues which we have reincarnated to acquire. So it is true that knowledge is power, because the light of truth shall free ourselves from the very own habits that are pernicious to us. So tonight we are being invited by Kardec and the illuminated spirits to understand the joys and the sorrows of life, not from a materialistic perspective, but rather from a spiritual, spiritist point of view. Shall we then begin? We will now read question 966, where Kardec will help us focus our attention on this very topic. Why do human beings have such crude and absurd ideas about the joys and the sorrows of the future life? Excellent question on the part of Kardec. Let us learn directly from the illuminated minds that work under the governance of Master Jesus. They respond to Kardec and all of us in the following manner. Because their intelligence is not yet sufficiently developed, does the child comprehend in the same way as the adult? Besides, it also depends on how they have been taught, that is, the point of view at which there is the most need for reform. So, for millennia, dear friends, we have internalized a depiction of God where we may perceive God from a childish perspective, visualizing God as the man in a throne with a white beard pointing fingers at us. This man with a white beard is but a figure of our imagination. We, as spirits who are not yet intellectually, spiritually, and emotionally mature enough, do not have a framework through which we can fully understand divine providence. In came Master Jesus 2023 years ago to teach us the following: that God is not a punisher, but rather someone who loves us deeply. That what we used to encode or internal offering 2023 years ago is instead an opportunity for eternal growth. What we used to think of as arbitrary decisions on the part of our Creator is instead, or rather, a sign of divine wisdom, because God, in its infinite love and justice, allows for us to respond to our actions in a way so as to educate us and empower us to make better choices. So the reason why we may at times feel as though we are being punished. The reason why we may feel at times as though God is pointing fingers, the reason why we may feel victimized and tempted to ask, why us? It's not because of God's arbitrary decisions or God's desire to punish any of us, but rather, beloved friends, this is a sign of our emotional, spiritual immaturity. So, how can we mature? We have a model of a spirit who knows how to be an adult in all circumstances. An adult, we mean not chronologically, but emotionally and spiritually. Master Jesus, understanding and feeling that God is love, never in his journey on earth perceived any of the circumstances in his life as a punishment from God. Rather, he felt God's love even in the moment of crucifixion. He was one with God so much that he knew how to interpret crucifixion, for instance, as an opportunity to imprint a lesson of hope and transformation onto all of our hearts. We may be thinking, well, Carol, we are not quite there yet. Okay, valid observation. But this is our direction, dear friends. So let us think of another example. Chico Xavier is another example that we can take into consideration. Though he underwent enormous hardships both on a physical, emotional, and spiritual level. When he was asked at a very, very advanced age physically, and when his physical body was already very limited in terms of its mobility. When Chico Xavier was asked if he were happy despite the difficulties, he absolutely said yes. Why? Because he, Chico Xavier, sought the good in every moment of his reincarnation. So, how can we transform our own perceptions of this duality between sorrows and joy? By, beloved friends, seeking the good in every circumstance. We may seek the good by asking, if God is love, why is then God allowing us to be in this situation? What does God wish us to learn from the situation? What kind of spiritual muscle might we develop as an outcome of this situation? God is trusting this situation to us because God would like for us to progress in this area. So, if we use our reasoning together with our faith and trust in God, we shall shift our perception and experience a state of inner hope. The circumstances around us may be quite challenging, but internally, in the temples of our hearts, symbolically speaking, we shall experience hope for growth. What a beautiful proposal. Let us then embrace this proposal and firmly believe that every day is an opportunity of harvesting hope for growth. Thank you, dear friends, for joining us. And thank you for the opportunity to nourish our souls together. We look forward to seeing everyone again next time. Until then, many blessings. Bye for now.